I would like to invite Lynnaire to share with us about some best tips about LinkedIn positioning. And I think she's absolutely the best person here to share about her knowledge in that regards. So please welcome Lynnaire.
Thank you, William. I've learned so much since I've been sitting here listening to you for the last 30 minutes, and I've got pages of notes here that I'm going to take away. So thank you for inviting me so that you could teach me some really interesting things. I've really been enjoying listening to this. So I wanted to share with you just a few things today about LinkedIn and what I think is important. But can I just ask, William, if it's all right, if I could share my screen? I think I don't seem to be able to do that while you are doing yours. Lovely. Thank you so very
Makes
much
sense.
indeed. So let me just share with you the things that I think are most important about LinkedIn in order for you to brand or position yourself in a way that is going to get you the success that William's been talking about. And of course, everything is based on your profile. It all starts from there, if I may steal your line, William, because your profile is what underpins everything else that you do on LinkedIn. And so if you're going to really make an impact out there in your industry, whether to get a new job or whether you want to brand your business, or you are setting out as a coach or consultant, whatever it is that you're doing in your professional life, LinkedIn has got all the tools that can help you to achieve your objectives. But it starts with your profile, and that needs to be complete and it needs to be compelling. So there are a lot of parts to a profile, but I've chosen 4 tonight to talk to you about, because I think these are the critical ones that if you get these right, then they will really position you extremely well. We're also going to talk a little bit about connecting with the right people, building the right network, and publishing content, which William has already mentioned. So let's have a look first of all at what is the first one? The cover image, right? Now I've chosen 2 cover images to share with you here. One of them, which I think is great. The other one, as you can see, is LinkedIn's default one. Now the one at the top, I just discovered this today, and it's a really good image, a powerful image of food. And as you can see from Jim's headline, he is in the food industry. So it's very clear right from the outset what industry he's in, and that is what I would consider to be macro positioning. Now, the person on the bottom right there, I don't actually know whether this person really exists. His profile was so poor. Both of these people invited me to connect just today. And I was really interested to see that the one on the bottom right had no cover image at all, so you know nothing about him or his business, and he had a really poor profile photo as well. Now, if you're thinking about branding, then your profile photo is important as well, and so a nice photo of you, of your head and shoulders, all smiling and looking really professional, is exactly what you need to be doing. Now, while we're just here talking about these 2 profiles, I want to draw your attention to the headline on the one on the top, where you can see that Jim has listed there a number of things that he does. He's been very clear about the market that he is serving. So you wouldn't go away from his profile not knowing who it is that he is trying to help. I'm not quite sure the rationale for having 16,000 followers there, but that's what he's done with that one. Now, your about or your summary is the long piece that sits underneath your headline. And it is the piece that traps most people. It trips a lot of us up because we find it really hard to write about ourselves. So I've got a formula here, or a format suggestion for you that I think will help you to be able to write a really good about section that will share your journey, explain to people where you have come from and how you've got to where you are, so that people can really understand you and they feel that they're connected to you in some way. So this particular format can be used for whatever it is that you do in your business or in your professional life. So you start with an introductory paragraph that makes it very clear who you are, what you do, how you do that, and the results that people might expect. And so that it really sums up what it is that you are offering people. Then I suggest 3 headings, and I'm going to give you some examples in a moment. An additional statement that might be a third party one, say somebody giving you a testimonial or saying something nice about you. Some more, a list of specialties. These are your skills, the things you do really well. And then of course, finish off with your contact details. You want to make it easy for people to be able to find you. So these are potential headings. I'm not going to read all these out. You'll be very pleased to know, but I'm sure William will be able to provide you with a screenshot of this or these slides later if you wish to have them. But if you choose a few of these, say maybe 3 to 5 of these headings, and then make sure that you cover them in a bulleted list using nice emojis, you'll find that it makes a real difference to your about section. Now, a lot of people talk about themselves in the third person. So they talk about he or she or they. Now, I think that that's very cold, and I much prefer to read profiles that are about the person, as in me and I. So you might think that that doesn't sound quite so professional, but I don't think that that's right. I think it's more about the fact that you want to be seen as friendly and approachable and a good person to be working with. So those are some of the headings that you can choose in your about section. Now, what sits underneath your about section is your featured section, and this is where the branding really comes in. And I've got a few examples here. And the first one is a friend of mine from the UK, John Asperian. Now, John has written a book. He's also what he calls a LinkedIn nerd, and he's a copywriter. So he has used his featured section, and I think you'll agree really well, to brand himself. So he's got his photo there front and center. You can see his colors. He's using the blue and the orange, and that shows up in all of those particular sections. Now, every profile can have a featured section that includes a number of different formats. So these include video. You can include an image, posts and articles from your LinkedIn activity, websites, and a number of other bits and pieces that really can make your profile stand out. But in John's case here, it's the colors, I think, that really work very well for him. Now, here are 2 other profile sections that might look a little familiar. Firstly, the top one is mine, and I have included tonight's event on my profile because I wanted people who were visiting it this week to be able to see that this event was on and to be taking part in it if they wanted to do so. And also I have a photo there, an image of my book, and the one on the right is an article that I published on LinkedIn covering some tips about LinkedIn. Now, the one underneath that is William's, and he's done a really great job with his because he's got several posts and articles from LinkedIn that he's published showing up on his featured section, and that's very easy to do. You just, when you're publishing your content, you just pin it to your featured section. I'm a real fan of featured because you can write descriptions and headlines that help really with your brand, and you can change the order of your content as well as have those lovely big thumbnails. So I'm a real fan of the featured section, as you can probably tell. Now, those are the 4 things that I think that are most important for profiles, but I also would just like to put in here recommendations. Social proof is very important on LinkedIn, and if you can get recommendations from people who say that you are good at what you do, then that is extremely helpful for building your credibility on LinkedIn. So try to get as many recommendations as you can. And the secret to that is to give recommendations. It's sort of a karmic thing somehow. It seems to work if you give recommendations to people, then they may directly reciprocate with recommendations for you, but somehow it just puts it out there to the universe, and other people will write recommendations for you as well. Now, the two other areas I wanted to just mention tonight, if I possibly could, are connecting, which is building your network. Now, once you've really got a good profile, you want to build a network of really high quality people. Now, who is high quality? Well, that is going to depend on you and what you're trying to achieve through your LinkedIn profile. So it might be business owners. It might be people who are active on LinkedIn, in my case. It might be people who are your peers, or even people who are thought leaders or heads of industry, for example. So when you're deciding who you want to connect to, think about the future. There's a saying that says, don't wait till you're thirsty to dig your well. So dig your well before you're thirsty, I think is the correct way to say that. And so what that means is making sure that you have a good network of people who know who you are and will willingly help you. And LinkedIn is a really good platform for doing that. But when you're sending an invite to somebody, send it as a personal invitation. So that's to add a message. Now, it's more complicated and a bit tricky on a mobile or on the app, but if you're doing it from desktop, it's very simple, and LinkedIn invites you to add a note, which is a message to send to somebody. So when you do invite someone to connect, give them a reason for wanting to connect to you. And when they do connect, follow up with a thank you. After all, it's only polite to do that. So I think it's important to choose the right people over having lots of people. Now, not everybody agrees with that, and it will depend a bit on what you're trying to achieve. But I like to have people in my network who I believe I can help and who will get something from what I am offering, which is lots of information about LinkedIn. So also it's important, I think, to open the door to have a conversation. Now, some people will take advantage of this and try and sell something to you, but in actual fact, what you're really wanting to do is to establish a relationship, or at least begin one, and that will help build that trust that William was talking about earlier on. So I think that connecting with the right people is really important. And the last thing that I want to mention here tonight about branding is publishing. Now, it's not necessarily an obvious choice, but William has talked about this already. And so you'll already be thinking about the fact that, yeah, I can see how publishing good quality content is going to really help my brand. Now, good quality content doesn't mean trying to promote yourself. It doesn't mean telling everybody how wonderful you are. Good quality content is where other people are going to get something from the content that you are providing, from the information that you are providing. So don't waste time trying to pitch, as William said earlier, in your content. Share information that is going to be really helpful for people. Now, don't just put your content up there and walk away and leave it. When you put something up there, you want people to engage with it and to make comment on it, because that's how it's going to be seen by more people. And to do that, you are going to need to help it. So when somebody comments on your posts or your article, then I would suggest that you engage on it yourself. You respond to their comments and keep the dialogue going. And choose really good formats that you like to use. Now, I'm a writer by trade and by profession, so I like to write text posts. Now, a lot of people don't like to write text posts, and that's perfectly fine. Do a video instead, or put up an image. Use a format that you think is going to work for you and that reflects your brand really well. And the final thing about this is to be consistent. So show up every day, every week, every month, every year, time after time. Because again, William talked about this earlier on, you have to do it for a long time. LinkedIn is a long game, so don't expect to get results with it overnight. You need to prove that you are someone who is trustworthy and that you are knowledgeable and that you have that you are a good person to be doing business with. So those are the 4 things that I think that are really important, or the 3 things really: a good LinkedIn profile, and connecting with the right people, and publishing. Now, I'm just going to leave this there. So if anybody wants to know more about my content and wants to have a look at the kind of information that I share, you're very welcome to connect with me or follow me on LinkedIn, or visit my website, or pop over to YouTube. So that's it. That's for me. Thank you, William.
Thank you, Lynnaire. I absolutely adore your style of speaking. It's so concise and just so to the point. And there's so much I've already learned from how you present already. Thank you so much for sharing. Who thinks Lynnaire has shared the very critical aspects of LinkedIn so far tonight? Thank you.